Hey friends, thanks for joining me, Jim Baroud, to hear a few insights from leaders who represent our innovation ecosystem. Today's chat is with Judi Fox, executive coach and the founder and CEO of LinkedIn Business Accelerator. She is also a well-known social media influencer. Talk to us about your journey and where you're at now.
So my journey starts when I was born. I'm kidding. I'm not going back that far. So it starts in when I got laid off during the last economic crisis. And I realized that I never wanted to be without a network ever again in my entire life. I wanted to make sure I could always find my way to an opportunity or a job because it's hard to be seen when you're in a big style of applicants. A big style. What did I say? A big pile? I don't even think I said the right words. A big pile of applicants. That's what I meant to say. It's hard to be seen. And so the first thing I did was I signed up for LinkedIn right when I lost my job in the 2008, 2009 economic crisis. And I got a job very quickly. And I had a ton of people ask me how I did it because I networked my way. And honestly, I'm just going to break it down. 2 people per day, but 2 real conversations per day, not casual chit chat, but like heart to heart or real conversations. Like me and, we're having a real conversation right now. So that kind of thing. We just didn't record them back then and make them content. So that's how it all got started. And then when I really launched on LinkedIn was when I started creating my own content instead of direct messages and conversations. I started making videos for LinkedIn, and that was March of 2018. I got a ton of views in a short amount of time. At one point, I had 1 million views in about 6 weeks. And the moment you have visibility like that, and that changes everything about your life, about your platform, about your voice, especially if you lean into it. And what I would say from there is because I'm an engineer, as my training, a chemical engineer, I sat down and reverse engineered what I did. So standard operating procedures, what did I do? How did I do it? And then how do I set myself up for success going forward? And now I do that for other people.
Wonderful, wonderful. And you, an engineer, a woman and a female engineer is, you're a great role model as well. Tell us more about what you do, how you help others, and what you're seeing as far as LinkedIn specifically, how things have changed over the past few years.
Well, I think I'll just start first of all that I think with the pandemic and everything that happened in 2020, being forced to be online, being forced to network, all the ways that we would, and all the speakers that would speak from stage, all the authors who would launch their books with tours, all of the events that we were all going to have, the arts and the creativity that we would experience in person by going to an art show or a theater, all of that had to figure out its way online to be able to be successful. Blunt. TEDx. I mean, you look at all of these stages and all these platforms, there was an element of in person that had to transfer online and had to transfer successfully. And to me, LinkedIn is still being slept on for how people can transfer the arts, how people can transfer. And how do I say this? LinkedIn's not the place it used to be. You make it what you want it to be. You are in control of LinkedIn. LinkedIn's not control of you. All of social media, you are in control of social media. Social media does not control you. So this concept, am I going down the right path here? Because the way that I work with people is to change their mindset first about LinkedIn. If you come into LinkedIn, I'm truly in my coaching. So I offer now something called LinkedIn Business Accelerator. It's 4 weeks. It's a fast track. And the biggest week is probably the first week where we work on mindset. Because if you treat LinkedIn the right way as a place to be a leader online, as a place to treat it like it's an online networking, it's a way to connect in a way from a event type of feeling. So that way, all those people you might have met in person at an event and continued the conversation with, that's what I think of LinkedIn as a great way to transfer those conversations. So did that answer your question?
Yeah, it absolutely did. But you're also seeing, people, there's been changes on LinkedIn, right? I mean, it's become more story-ish in some ways. You see a lot of different things posted on it as well. So, I mean, have you seen um, changes, positive and negative, over the past year or so?
Yes, the positives I'm seeing are extremely positive in the sense that we're not gatekeeping what is professional, because that word to me has been used in a negative way. And I like that we're kind of destroying that word and how it's used. Because to me, professional, people can use that to decide how you look, how you present yourself, all kinds of ways, right? They might even say me wearing fox ears is not professional. But it is. It's leadership. If I want to get on stage at work, stage. If I'm leading an office full of 50 employees and they come into the conference room and I decide today's crazy hat day, is there a problem in the office that we decided today was crazy hat day? It's fun. It lightens the mood. It makes us more relatable to each other. It opens up stories with, why are you wearing that hat? Like, what does that mean to you? Like, or whatever. We have to do things like that to find common ground. And we have to do it online now because we're not doing it in person. So all those things we would do in the office naturally should translate to LinkedIn. And that is completely leadership content. It's not unprofessional. So I love that. From a positive standpoint, we're kind of breaking down that wall of what I think is that fourth wall of professional. So CEOs, anyone. I love Sarah Blakely drinking her coffee cup with her quotes. It seems like it's really her. Whether she's repurposing it from Instagram or not, it feels like her. It doesn't feel like there's a wall. So maybe breaking that fourth wall of professional. So tear down that word and replace it with be a leader. Be a leader online that you wish you would see online. Be a leader on LinkedIn. It's my new tag, my new phrase for LinkedIn.
So what about for folks who are listening in right now? They're young people and more mature folks, both of whom are still getting sort of acquainted with LinkedIn, and they're from all across the country and some outside the country. So what general advice would you give? Let's start with the more mature executive who has not been on LinkedIn. And then let's go back to the person just starting out their career.
I think of LinkedIn, and this is what I hear directly from LinkedIn, out of the mouth of Dan Roth. LinkedIn wants conversation. So join the conversation. Every CEO that I work with, one of the main places I ask them to start getting into conversation is look at the today's news and views. If you want to be seen as a leader, that's when I have a CEO client that he has only worked with me for 2 weeks, and I just got him featured in the LinkedIn news. And that is a prime real estate. He started getting direct connection requests from other CEOs. So they want to highlight the experts in the different areas. If you are at that expert level, if you are going to join the voices of, right now, that post that he got featured on was about Jeff Bezos. So it's not about adding your voice to make more noise, but actually adding from a CEO's perspective what you saw happening there and what you thought about maybe his letter or his announcement to the employees, and pulling out a quote and saying, I found this to be the most powerful piece because this is how I handle my employees. So if you are at that executive level, show up as adding your additional thought process, because we're here for getting those. If anyone has ever told you they want to pick your brain, then you need to be on LinkedIn. And then put that picking your brain out there versus doing it private. That sounds gross, but put some of your brain pieces on LinkedIn.
But let's just unpack that a little bit, Judi. So how exactly did he read the story, comment on it? What was the sort of the step-by-step process?
Yes, this is my gold. So I've heard other people try to say this is how you get in the LinkedIn news. Well, I have a screenshot of my client getting in the LinkedIn news. So obviously I know how to do it. I had 2 people get featured in the LinkedIn news yesterday. And this is how I did it. I told them, you go over to the news and you join the conversation already happening. You actually support another CEO's message. So when you're trying to get first noticed, it's really hard to get noticed out of the gate over on your own content over here. You add your opinion piece and write it like it's almost a standalone post. So you honor the CEO you're highlighting above. So that was their thoughts. So CEO of XYZ company is obviously sharing a post. You add your opinion piece to that. You honor their voice first. Active listening skills are really powerful. Honor their voice, tag them. Then down below, you offer your piece. Here's what I would add. Here's what I would add to the discussion. It's like handing a mic down a line of CEOs on stage.
Right.
And you honor the person. What Bob just said over here was amazing. Or Susan, let's do a woman CEO. Susan, this is what Susan was saying. Now I'm going to add this. Now I'm going to pass the mic over. And that is good behavior on LinkedIn. And when the LinkedIn news sees that, they will start highlighting you. They are paying attention. It's actually their job to pay attention.
That's fascinating. Okay. And so it's liking that person's post or replying to that person's post or liking the normal post and then commenting and tagging.
So yeah, when you look at the LinkedIn news, you're going to see people's comments in there. You have to find in the LinkedIn news, you'll find the main article that sparked all the ideas.
I see.
So you kind of have to, it's like you have to go in and read the room to figure out how you're going to get on stage. And that's really hard. Like you have to hire me. At that point, if you don't quite know what to do from that advice, I'm just going to be blunt. You got to hire me.
Wow.
How is that?
That makes good sense.
Yeah, because it is about reading the room. At the CEO level, how are you going to get the microphone? You don't rush the stage. So we got to figure out how you can merge into the conversation and just naturally be handed the microphone. And that there's an art to networking and an art to getting asked to be on stage.
Got it. Well, and I think that's a key phrase, the art of getting engaged.
Yeah.
Essentially. And so let's take that comment and talk to the young people in our audience today. What do you recommend to those folks who are just getting started, just starting their careers, or maybe they're still in college? Who knows?
So first, if you were just overwhelmed by all that information, don't do that. You can go into the LinkedIn news, go see what the CEOs are talking about and get inspired. Because if you don't feel comfortable joining, and like, if you do feel comfortable, go ahead and do it. But if you don't worry about it. Because what I'll say is actually starting with your peers is really powerful on LinkedIn. You having peer-to-peer discussions. So if you have a group of 3 of you, let's just pick 3. Do you have 2 friends, one on each side of you in your life that you could reach out to and say, hey, do you want to get active on LinkedIn? Yeah, I want to get active on LinkedIn. I actually think I should. Then go out and say, well, here's the thing. I'm going to make a post. You're going to make a post. Only 3 of us. Let's comment on each other's, not forced. But if we actually are friends and we like what each of us are talking about, let's just start. And it doesn't have to be ongoing forever. Just the first post, just to kind of get your feet wet, all 3 of you, to kind of say, let's do it together. That is a powerful way for a student to get started. For somebody that is fresh out of college, find people who are your peers because they are excited to see likes and comments on their posts. They're excited to see peers liking and commenting on their posts. So I can give you, there's actually some LinkedIn employees that I have identified on TikTok, for example. And I have now transferred them over to LinkedIn. And so I've made a list of LinkedIn employees that are on TikTok making videos, going live, and I support them on LinkedIn because they may not have a huge liking and commenting and strategy. So I just think that's good transfer of energy there, if that makes sense, because I noticed them posting on LinkedIn. So
So, well, let's talk about that. There's several platforms, right? And new ones popping up, which we'll talk about later. But let's talk about TikTok, Instagram, other
Clubhouse.
other things. Not Clubhouse yet, but the other
Not
ones.
Clubhouse yet.
Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Snap, what others? How should young people in general view these platforms? We know LinkedIn. Well, we now know it a bit better for professionals and for career. But what about the social media in general?
Social media in general. Um,
Should people pick a platform and focus, or should they be on several platforms?
the best thing I did in my career was pick a platform and focus. I saw other platforms as two things. So I picked LinkedIn. And I focused. I put all my energy there, all of my attention there, dialed in, LinkedIn all day, every day. And then what I did was, if I wanted to quote unquote play on another platform, I still thought of myself as a leader, but I also just wanted to have a good time. If I have something funny, I had something I thought was kind of funny, so I put it on TikTok. I will play on other platforms and have a good time. And sometimes having a good time can get you a ton of visibility. I think I'm at a couple million views on TikTok. And then I just checked my Pinterest and I had 90,000 views over there, I think last month. So it's more important to pick one and then enjoy the other ones. And as you start to figure them out, you could dial in a strategy. But I think it's so aggressive to constantly have a strategy. When you start, you don't have this huge team. Somebody young does not have a team of support, like people posting everywhere. So pick a pillar and then spider web out from that pillar and test.
Got it. I like that analogy. So, but in regards to TikTok, I just recently got on and then am exploring it. It's a lot of
I
fun.
follow you.
Don't follow me. I haven't posted anything. I'm just watching. And I think
Okay.
that's probably a good strategy for people just to watch what goes on. But, at first I thought it was all just dances and all this stuff. And then I started getting financial advice and other cooking and all this stuff. And
I know I'm on Stock Talk. I'm on Mop Talk. There's like a mop that gives advice. I don't know why it's giving advice,
but so for, again, some of the more seasoned executives out there, might TikTok make sense as a platform, or is it just fun and games?
no, it is not fun and games. I follow so many people, and there's one person that I follow that's a reporter, and his TikToks are not that exciting, but he's clippy and he's fast, and he just says the facts, and he's like, here's what happened today in the news. Da, 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 da. There's no music, there's no fancy bells and whistles, and he's millions of followers because he is so factual and fast. And all I have to do is check him. I know when he comes on every day, 9 a.m., he's going to drop a video, 6 p.m. And I'm going to know what happened in between, and he's just going to drop some facts and news. And what I found out about him is he grew up with a learning disability. And so he is so focused on being able to make the news consumable for somebody with potential learning disabilities too. So that's where he comes from. And that's why his news pieces are so easy to consume. And why I feel like, wow, so many can do that. I mean, I love the Washington Post example. I don't know if you follow them, but that guy's hilarious. And I love that they've given people some freedom to play on these brands, like the whole cranberry explosion of riding a skateboard and drinking cranberry juice blows my mind. And I'm so excited that the CEO joined. But I wish that CEO had transferred that energy to LinkedIn too.
Right.
Can you imagine if the CEO had explained the power of what happened in that TikTok and actually used it as a bit of a case study and posted about it on LinkedIn, linked to the videos and made a compilation of some of the videos and some of the attention it gathered and the numbers that came from it? I'm giving them a whole post.
Exactly.
Hello, where's my contract?
They better hire you right away.
But that is so smart because that's a business conversation. We want to actually know, and that's how you merge these platforms. The LinkedIn features are getting exciting. I'm just so friggin' excited. I mean, I'm excited that I'm finally feeling like LinkedIn is actually really listening. LinkedIn has showed listening more in 2021 than I've ever experienced. And we're only into like 1 month of 2021. So the fact that I uploaded a video about a LinkedIn feature and LinkedIn reach out and LinkedIn shared my video. So they're listening, and that means something for the platform. If the platform is starting to show more active listening to the people posting, that to me sends a really big signal, because it's not that they were never doing that before. It just felt like there was a bit of a wall.
Okay.
Like, we're going to do what we're going to do because we're a business and we have it figured out. And to feel that's how the vibe was. And now it feels like they're listening. So it's exciting. Number one. Number two, all the new features. LinkedIn stories, the ability to swipe up on a LinkedIn story, LinkedIn Live being rolled out to more people. If people have been chomping at the bit, they want LinkedIn Live, but LinkedIn kind of kept it behind a gate of an approval process. I mean, LinkedIn is just embracing, we're social media. People want to be social to get a job. People want to know people to get a job.
Got it. So let's talk about Clubhouse.
So Clubhouse to me is the conference and the event space that we missed all in 2020. It's the way to have conversations and meet people and think about new ideas, and the ability to spread information blows my mind on that platform. So for example, and some people who might not understand Clubhouse, this is one of the better ways I can try to explain it. If Elon Musk was on Clubhouse the other night, it caused a lot of generating like buzz. It wasn't about Elon Musk being on Clubhouse for me. What it was I was sitting in a room with some of the top startups. So what I was doing is I'm sitting on stage, I'm listening to Elon Musk, right? He's talking. Everything's great. That's a great show. I'm listening to it, but you can get access to it. It's on YouTube right now. That wasn't the important part. The important part was the immediate reaction of all of the startup leaders, of all of these amazing business owners, CEOs. Just, I don't even know where their brains live all the time, but they're like doing all kinds of things and connecting all kinds of dots. They all had the microphone. There was about 50, I think, of them on stage, all with the access to a microphone. And when Elon Musk stopped talking and they were interviewing the CEO of Robinhood and all of that was happening and that shut down, it was over. I have goosebumps still from the reaction of all of those CEOs, all of those startups. They got off mute and they were like, like all of the thoughts, all of the downloads that they literally had in that exact moment, that blew my mind. To be a fly on the wall, listening to it just blew my mind. Like, I don't even know how to explain that. Does that make sense?
I think it does, but thinking of all those people on a conference call, essentially, seems like it's overwhelming. So how did they, I guess you could only one person can speak at one time. Is that right? They have that feature?
They had an initial, everyone got off mute and went, oh my God. Like, it was like, it's like the Super Bowl for like thought leadership. It was like being in a living room where everyone's watching a TED Talk. And then after the TED Talk, this living room explodes with like, yeah, like that's how it felt, right? So you're right. Not everyone can talk at once. But here's the thing. You could hear people's passion in the voice when they started passing the mic around. So that's what happened on stage. They went one by one by one and they said, what was your takeaway? What is your takeaway? What is your takeaway? And then just, I was glued. It was like I was glued to like, I don't even know what to call it. It's like being in the room of a TED Talk, and the TED Talk audience is full of every CEO leader you ever wish you could hear what they just thought of the TED Talk and how they were going to implement it the next day and what they took away and what their main point was. I learned more from that than listening to the actual talk from Elon Musk.
That's amazing. That's really great. And that, I think, if I read correctly, there was 5,000 people who were listening in. He broke
in one room. There were many rooms.
Right. All right. So now how have you leveraged it? Tell us about your experience specifically.
So my experience specifically, if you guys are all still in love with my new boyfriend, Clubhouse, is I learned and I did it. It was like a 4 a.m. thing. You know, when you have a download and then you're like, I'm not going to sleep tonight. I feel this. I know something's going to happen. So what I did was I knew I was going to be running a Clubhouse room the next day. And I had that all scheduled, all organized, Clubhouse room happening tomorrow. Great. I'm going to create a LinkedIn event and there's an event feature on LinkedIn. It's on the left-hand side on the home button, just a little plus button, create an event. What I did was the broadcast link, I made it Clubhouse. I then put the link in my Instagram bio for the LinkedIn event. So I created a circle. And because I created that circle, there was a live chat on LinkedIn. When you create a LinkedIn event, you get a live chat. So that way, whatever event you're running, we could be running an event right now. Technically, we have on Zoom the ability to have a live chat, right? But we don't have the ability on Clubhouse to have a live chat. So I created a live chat on the back end of a Clubhouse event. Over 800 people circulated between that circle in a couple of hours, like 2 hours. 800 people, like it blew my mind because that's a lot of conversations. And then everyone in the Clubhouse room, not just everyone on stage, because only so many people can have a microphone, right? It's the equivalent of everyone in the audience of a live event. Imagine being in a TEDx. You're all watching the stage. You're all in the audience. Can you imagine getting the business card or knowing who's next to you in this TEDx while you're listening to on stage? So I'm on stage running a live chat behind the scenes, and people are networking on LinkedIn. While I'm on stage talking, I'm saying, hey, everybody, why don't you answer this question in the live chat and all talk with each other? So they're generating conversation in the live chat while we are on stage having a conversation. It's like multiple conversations all happening. People are meeting each other. People are finding opportunities. People are finding jobs. That's 800 people. You're going to meet somebody. So yeah,
There's a live chat function within the Clubhouse app, correct?
no, there's
Within
no
the LinkedIn
live.
event, within the LinkedIn
Yes,
event.
within LinkedIn, there's a live chat, but no ability to chat in Clubhouse. The only ability to chat in Clubhouse is to go over to Instagram or go over to Twitter. But those are one-to-one conversations.
Got it.
When you drive traffic to a LinkedIn event, and if you want this, it's at foxrocks.club. Because I show you how to create all the links to put it as a circle.
No, but are they chatting when they're listening to you at the same time?
Yes.
So
I can hear their reaction to what we're saying on stage.
Oh, wow. That's
I can
fascinating.
see.
That's a great hack. I love it. All right. So we got some questions here. Before we get to questions, Judi, share with us just one thing you want, people to know about, getting more engaged, leveraging social media for your brand or for your career.
I would say for any social media site, listen first. Listen before you think about talking, because we constantly hear people, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to post, or I don't know where to start with posting. Then don't start with posting. Start with commenting. I don't like, part of me says if a brand went out and commented, I'm just saying, I watched Miley Cyrus do this. And I'm just going to point her out because she did it so well. She generated so much buzz because she didn't think posting first. She got on TikTok and she started commenting, and everyone was like, "Oh, Miley Cyrus commented on my post." And so what I noticed is all of the football brands, like Philadelphia Eagles, the Saints, they started commenting. So the excitement about getting all the football teams to comment on your post started to become a thing. And it generated so much buzz for those new pages that those pages exploded instead of thinking about posting first. We just need to create content. Your brand needs to go out and be in the people.
I love that. Engagement first, right? Engagement,
Yes.
feeding
So
off
that's
of
for
others.
brands and for people. If you're a student, same advice. If you are trying to get the attention of a hiring manager or somebody on a team, check out that company's hashtag on LinkedIn. You'll find the active employees. So hashtag Whole Foods, hashtag Gorilla Glue, hashtag, I don't know who you want to work with, hashtag Amazon. There's not that many employees that are active, and you find them, and then you just start naturally engaging. Don't go stalkery on them, but is that okay to say? Just be a normal human. Great post. I enjoyed the part where you said XYZ. You don't even have to add your own thoughts. Just compliment the post and honor it. As a student, that is a powerful piece of advice.
Great advice. Great advice. Now, here's the first question about LinkedIn. How does one increase their chances of having their LinkedIn profile viewed by a potential employer?
What I just said.
I mean, in addition to what you just said, is there anything else, the profile itself, is there anything that they can do to sort of make it more attractive or?
So I did work with a student recently. It's actually somebody I worked with her aunt 10 plus years ago, and now she's circulated and sent to me her niece. And so she just graduated from college, and the biggest thing we did was position her pillars of kind of what she was looking for in the banner image. An image is worth 1,000 words, and our eyes are drawn to that banner image. So if it's empty, or if it's a city, or if it's something generic, it doesn't do anything for you. But with her, we actually positioned it as she loves design, she loved marketing, and she loved, I can't remember what the other pillar was, but we just put them in nice words. And then we put a message in the bottom right corner that said, please connect with me and also send me messages with my email. And we put that right there in the banner. So it stood out and it was visible. And she said, I had no problem getting a job. She got interviews, she got jobs. And she said, it's amazing how just that banner image changed everything about her job search.
Great advice. Great advice. Here's the next one. I'm a solopreneur who has a personal profile and a company page on LinkedIn. I usually post on the company page and then share it from my personal profile. Is that the way to go?
Go the other way.
Okay.
Go, just do it, but flip it. Post to your personal profile, share to the company page, because the company page is sharing. And I'm a solopreneur. I mean, I have a small team, but for the most part, I consider that still, what is a solopreneur? I don't know. Like this is my brand. This is my company. I built it under the name Judi Fox. So that's what I'm doing. My company page shares the thought leadership of Judi Fox. And that is a more powerful direction.
Got it. Now, what about the company pages? I'm getting a ton of requests to follow pages. Is that effective for people to go out and try to get traction on those pages, or is there a better formula?
I love company pages. So yes, getting traction on the company pages, super, super powerful, because even if you think that that's not getting the attention of the hiring managers or the decision makers, maybe you think to yourself, it's the social media management team. But here's the thing. How do I say this? The owners of the companies and the people, they do look at what is the social media management team doing? And they look at those pages, number one. And number two, there's not that many people commenting. So you will naturally stand out if you do high quality comments. So you honor the post, you find a way to connect dots for them, or you tag in an additional person and say, I think you should see this. This was a great comment. This was a great topic. It's very powerful for that brand because they're watching, because they don't have that many likes and comments. A lot of brands don't on the company pages. The second reason, that's actually how I've gotten a lot of my clients press. Because what I've noticed is even brands like BBC, I got one of my clients featured in BBC from only writing a comment on LinkedIn. And the reason why is because if you're, I got a brand, I forgot about this. I also got a brand featured by Ariana Huffington. She has 9 million followers on LinkedIn. If you write a high quality comment that almost looks like it could be a piece for Thrive Global is watching. They actually responded below and said, please write this as a full article. Here's the link. She wrote it as a full article, and then Ariana Huffington posted it and tagged my client.
Wow. Wow. But what about for people who have a small company?
Yep.
Should they take the time to create a company page?
Yes.
In addition, so you say yes, but they should still focus on their personal profile. And because it's harder to get traction on a company page, I think, right? Unless you have a full team.
So I'm posting once a month, and my traction, if I showed you my numbers, your jaw would drop. I literally gain, my percentage increases are over 2000% visibility. So every month I'm growing by 2000%.
But posting on your company page.
I'm only making one post a month, and it's not even a post, it's a share.
Okay.
I am literally taking, so say for example, if you are a small company, do you have one thing you could share? One article, one post from an employee, one thing to share per month? It's the barrier of entry is so low that one share per month can get 1000% increase in your visibility of your brand and your company.
Okay. So the short answer is yes, create a company page. You don't have to post all the time, but at least sometime, and that could help, right?
Sharing to your personal profile does not work. Clicking the share button on things you find in the news feed and you put it on your company page, that gets visibility.
Okay, got it.
So hopefully there's a lot of myths about LinkedIn. And I want to break that myth that number one, a company page, what's the point? No, you need to use it. And it's so freaking powerful. It blows my mind. And then they are also linking, oh my God, I could blow your mind, but they're linking company pages to hashtags. So any brand that is actually growing a company page hashtag, it's mind blowing. It's working.
Got it. This is great stuff. Someone asked sort of a technical question. How do you access Clubhouse?
Step number 1, put Clubhouse app on your phone, your iPhone, your iPad, whatever it goes on. If it downloads, put it on there. Number 2, you sign up. So you grab your username. You can log all the way in to the point of grabbing your new username. And then that's where a gate is. And the moment you do that, if you are connected to any other person through social media and through your phone, they can let you in without an invite. They can basically say, so I've seen it on Clubhouse, one of my friends got his username. So all of a sudden I saw, hey, so-and-so wants into Clubhouse. You don't have to use an invite. You just have to click accept. And then technically you and that person are connected in your network. So you do want to be careful, just as a side note, be a little bit more discerning about who you let in, because your Clubhouse link will always be linked with them. So if they do anything bad on the platform, that can actually reflect on you. And that's truly an interesting kind of social network space that you want to be careful who you let in. So personally, I don't let in people I don't know. If I don't really know you truly and your character and how you would treat the app, I can't let you in.
Got it. Now, what about, can anyone create a room?
Yes, anyone. You get on, create a room.
Just like that. And you promote it and you attract people to your room inside and outside of Clubhouse, essentially, correct?
Yeah.
And so there's a big rush. There's all this buzz. Everyone's creating rooms. It seems like there's so much you don't have time to listen in.
That's why I tell people it's, again, how you choose to use it. Social media is all about how you choose to use it. So I'm intentional. I actually put it on my calendar now. I will be in this room. So I follow people, and the people that I follow most of them I didn't know at the beginning, because you don't know anything at any beginning of any app, right? So I think I followed a few too many people at the beginning that I didn't truly know I wanted to track them. So I might be following a few too many, but who cares? The point is, I scroll only my people I'm following. So that way I can find out what events they're hosting and what they're doing. So if they have scheduled an event, not a spontaneous room, but they went into the calendar of the app and they schedule it, then I put it on my calendar if I really want to attend it. It's kind of like putting on your calendar that you want to attend this today.
Right.
So you are being intentional about your time. So thank you everyone for listening and being intentional with your time.
Great. Okay, here's the next one. I'm having a hard time creating a personal profile because I have not done any internship or job, they're probably a student or in that career that they want to go to. What should they do?
Are they interested? So my first question is, are you interested in an internship? And if you're interested in an internship, print out, because I'm a paper person. I don't know why. You don't have to print it out, but whatever. I'm one of those old people that I print out things. And in my head, if you don't print things out and you have, because who has a printer? Anyone that's like 45 years old and older. The point is, have two screens open like a normal young person would. And you have one screen open and the other screen open. Your internship of what you want is on one screen. Your LinkedIn profile is on the other screen. And help that inspire you. Step number one, because some of the words they use are words you can use to position yourself as kind of looking for those opportunities. Does that make sense? You cannot claim experience in those, but you can claim that you are either searching and you can put them, then you get some keywords and you're able to kind of start to position yourself as being available for those opportunities. And then the second thing is, find a peer. There has to be somebody who maybe is a few steps ahead of you that is not, they're not 20 years in their career. You're looking for a pocket of a few people. So you might start with your university, start with a few people who have internships that maybe you know them and maybe you just see their LinkedIn. Maybe their LinkedIn's not perfect and it doesn't matter about being perfect. It matters about these micro things that they've done that have just positioned you a little, they've positioned themselves a little bit more solid on LinkedIn than zero. So just go and find one of, it only takes one, and then model after their success. It doesn't mean copy them, but if they put something like internship, like pay attention to how they phrased everything and then put your keywords in there and the jobs you're looking for. So that way you can kind of model after them.
Got it. One last question, Judy. What about number of followers? Sometimes people have this perception that I need to get thousands and thousands of followers or connections on this platform, that platform, or other platforms. Is that the right way to approach social media, or is it more about other things?
It's definitely more about other things. For a long time, I didn't have very many followers myself, but I still knew what I knew. And it doesn't take away the real conversations that you can have. And I've met some people who are very influential and they do not have very many followers. I've met CEOs of companies that don't have very many followers online, but they have a lot of followers of dollar signs in their bank account. So the biggest thing I tell people is stop trying to go out to create more cold connections. Just stop. Just stop right now. Everybody stop. Pause. The fastest thing you can do in your network is look at who you already know and to have conversations with people you already know. That's actually what I did in the 2008, 2009 crisis. Instead of thinking I need to have conversations with people I don't know, because that's awkward. That's hard. It's easier to start with people you do know and get it. That's what we talk about. How do you get introductions to people you don't know? How do you get warm introductions to people you don't know? Start with people you know. I started with the family I used to babysit for. I'm going to be really blunt. I mean, I'm dialing it all the way back to 15 years old, Judi Fox. Well, that wasn't my name, but the point is 15 years old, I reconnected with the family I used to babysit for. Turns out they had a available townhouse. I wasn't in the market I didn't exactly need a townhouse at that moment, but the point is they networked me. And they also realized when I did need something to stay, I said, hey, remember we had that conversation 3 or 4 months ago? Turns out I actually need a place and I didn't even know I needed one. Glad I had that conversation with you. Is it open? Yes. We'll give you a good deal. Awesome. I needed to keep warmer ties with people I've already known throughout my whole life. They already trust me. I don't have to gain trust, that know, like, and trust. And they're the ones that connected me to opportunities. I had somebody who went through my chemical engineering class. I launched my company September 2018, caught up, a casual catch up with her. I've known her for 20 years. She's the one that got me my biggest first contract for my business.
Great story. One last question here about conversations. Private conversations, do they matter on LinkedIn, or is it only public comments?
The reason why, yes, private conversations matter 100%. Because LinkedIn values conversations, two things are going to happen. When you have a private conversation with one other person, when you go out on your newsfeed, if you make a post or they make a post, if they make a comment or you make a comment, LinkedIn's going to show it to you. So number one, the algorithm, whether I know the algorithm or not, I'm not even going to care about that. LinkedIn cares that you had a conversation. So they're going to start showing each other your post, your activity on the platform. So all of a sudden, LinkedIn thinks, you two are friends. Let's show each other in the newsfeed. So number one, that happens. Number two, the ability to carry on a conversation privately is very powerful. To be able to engage somebody, talk to somebody. Again, if you don't know what to talk about in the private conversations, start with a public comment that you can move to the private conversations. It is easier to start with a public conversation because how you treated me publicly is probably how you'll treat me privately. Right. And then I can trust the conversation. I don't kick off any conversation that starts with how are you privately. If anyone starts that way in my private conversations, I actually tell them the best way for us to start this conversation is to actually start with a public comment. I don't reply to how are you.
Oh my God, that's really fascinating. Now, so really a way that people can sort of just start to engage on LinkedIn is really just go through their network and engage on their comments, right? I mean, that's a nice way of showing love and showing engagement and not having to write a separate email. Instead, this might be a way to complement those personal emails or instead of emails, correct?
Correct. And it's also, I call it getting on the platform and everyone gets a social capital credit card. So welcome to LinkedIn. I would love to sign you up for your social capital credit card. Are you ready to sign? And then everyone gets their social capital credit card and they're like going around the platform and swiping it. And the way that you gain money, gain social capital, is to go comment, because all those people you're commenting on, you're gaining like 20 cents or something. You're gaining capital. And you can, depending on how I don't know what the word is. If they, for example, the first swipe is, will you connect with me? So if you're commenting and then you go to say, I would love to, I've been consuming your post. I really liked the one where you said XYZ, and that's your connection request. Your social capital credit card is going to swipe and earn credit for them to accept. That's how I think about it. Does that make sense?
That makes a ton of sense. Okay, well, we're going to end this, Judi, with a poem. So close us out here.
So this is a poem I memorized in 8th grade. I have it printed, so in case I can't remember it. But let me see. I'm going to challenge myself. It's like you can read it. I'm just kidding. So you can prove that I know this poem. How's that? If you can keep your head it's If by Rudyard Kipling. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself when all men doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired of waiting. Or being lied about, do not deal in lies. Or being hated, don't give way to hating. And yet don't look too good, nor talk too wise. Do I still have time?
Keep going.
You know I have it memorized.
Go ahead. That's impressive. Go ahead.
I'm a little nervous now. Or being hated, don't give way to... Okay. If you can dream and not make dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and meet and treat those two imposters just the same. If you can bear... Oh no, I knew that was going to happen. If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools, or watch the things you gave your life to broken and stoop and build them up with worn out tools. If you can heap all your winnings in one pile and risk it on one turn of pitch and toss and lose and start again at your beginnings and never breathe a word about your loss. If you can force your heart and nerve and sinew to serve their turn long after they are gone, and so hold on when there is nothing in you except the will which says to them, hold on. If you can meet with, hold on, I knew it. If you can talk with crowds and keep your virtue, or walk with kings nor lose the common touch. Oh, this is, if neither foes nor loving friends can hurt you, if all men count with you, but none too much, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, yours is the earth and everything that's in it, and which is more, you'll be a man, my son, or a woman.
I love it. Oh my God. That's so impressive. Thank you so much, Judi. I know you're super busy. I know you're running to another meeting. Quick last question. LinkedIn stories. Quick response.
Love them. And I'm going to be on Clubhouse on Saturday talking about them.
And is it worth everyone to get involved with LinkedIn stories, and how often to post?
Every day. And it is worth it. And the reason why it's worth it is because I literally met somebody yesterday who's getting 20,000 views per story, and she only has 4,000 followers. Blows my mind. It's
amazing.
hot.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Judi. Thanks for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the show. Please like it, leave a review, and subscribe. See you soon.